So Subnautica is one of the best and most popular survival game series out there in the world, and it's because most people are afraid of tall, dark, handsome things that lurk in the depths of the ocean, with myself being included in that list. And that is what makes this game series such a big success, the addition of horror into survival. Anyways, I thought it would be fun to platinum both of the Subnautica games because they are super fun and also very simple for my small brain to comprehend. The first game, being the original Subnautica, has 18 total trophies. And since I love this game so much, I actually played it all the way through for my own enjoyment a while back and only had to get one more trophy for the platinum. This was the trophy gotten for shutting down the Aurora reactor, or like fixing it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But basically, I had to head back to the Aurora, which is the crash ship we had to escape out of at the beginning of the game. I also rode my sea moth named Seaman there, just a small lore drop. Anyway, since I saved this for last, the entire ocean around the ship is heavily infected with radiation, and I literally was just slowly dying every second, much like how we all are right now. Enough of the mind games. I found my way to the reactor room and was a little confused at what to do to fix it at first, but after I opened my eyes and saw the pretty obvious sparks flying out of holes in the walls, I realized you just need to use the repair tool on all of them. So I can now say I found a sure way to close those gaping holes that resembled your sister last night. I actually did end up dying to radiation poisoning though while on my journey there, and I was a little bit annoyed since I only needed to fix like 2 more. I then tried to take my Cyclops named Clitoris back to the Aurora, but somehow I managed to get it stuck in whatever crevice I found and literally could not move it. What a great game. So I ended up just using the sea glide all the way back to the Aurora, and thankfully no Leviathans tried to eat my ass. Arriving once more in the reactor room, and I fixed the final gaping hole left, which gave me the final trophy of the game, and then the platinum trophy right after. Overall, that took like 20 minutes, and I am very pleased with my efforts. So the other game in this franchise is called Subnautica Below Zero, which is the second version, and it's honestly pretty similar to the first one. There's also a total of 14 trophies in it, meaning there's actually a bit less content, which brings the DLC question into my mind. Just kidding, the only DLC game is Modern Warfare 3. Anyway, some major differences between Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero are that there is actually characters in it, and everyone has voice acting this time, so it is no longer a Helen Keller simulator. Anyways, the game opens up with Robin, who is the character you play as, being transported by some other dude named Cal. And no, not the Kestis ginger one from Star Wars. Anyways, this time we deliberately crash land onto a frozen wasteland planet instead of accidentally doing it. However, once Robin landed, her escape pod was slowly catching on fire, and we barely made it out before it truly got engulfed in flames. Also, there was like a bunch of debris and stuff just crashing down onto the land next to us, so we did a neat little Subway Surfers run into the water to escape all of our problems. The goal is to reach the drop pod, which acts like our initial home base, so I did that because it was easy and got the first trophy of the game. Now it's time to go begin the typical Subnautica start, just swimming around with literally zero movement, scavenging material outcrops around the area, whilst also trying to remember to go up for air and not drown. After a while, I made a knife, and then various swimmer products that would have been smart to bring with us in the first place. And I'm not sure why this idiot Robin didn't think of that, but somehow I did. I guess I'm just a genius.
Yeah.
So we finally got the Sea Glide, which is literally one of the most clutch things ever because it makes our slow turtle swim speed look horrible, much like your father's pullout game. I ended up in a kelp cave after a while and really got introduced into spatial awareness. Turns out mine is not good, and I was very lost and confused down here. So much so that I ended up being on literally zero oxygen and got bailed out with the oxygen plants that are underground in most of this game. Now, having a Sea Glide is cool and all, but much like the previous game, you literally do need to make vehicles so you can further the game's story. And to do this, you gotta do some big ballsy activities. I took this to the max, however, and found myself 300 plus meters underwater, struggling to not drown while being chased by evil monsters. God, I love this game. Anyways, while down there, I did find a lot of sea truck components, which is what replaced the sea moth from last game. Rest in peace, Seaman.
Are you proud, bro?
No, bro, I'm good, bro. Oh my God!
Before I could resurface and build a sea truck though, I got jumped by some plant that grabbed me like an angry father and tried to pull me away to beat. Luckily, by spamming hit and screaming, I escaped with only minor trauma. I did also find my way to some alien structures though, which is neat. And since I'm just such a curious little creature, I touched the cool glowing thing and it awoke with spinning lights and loud noises. I then passed out and pulled a Skyrim, but when I woke up, the alien voice thing is now in my head. We also got a trophy, which is cool. So they explain this later, but I'll just do it right now. Basically, that voice in our head is this alien life form form and not just severe schizophrenia. It names itself Alan later on, and we have to help it get put back into an ancient body. All of these activities I'm mentioning, by the way, are also various trophies, so it's all meant to be in the end. Unlike my relationship with that one bitch from summer. So moving on, I continued to find more materials and stuff until getting enough resources to craft the sea truck while using the mobile vehicle bay. Once it got done being fabricated out of midair, we received a trophy for doing so, and also an insanely cool vehicle which increases our chance of survival greatly. I then headed out towards a marker on my map called Delta Station, which is apparently of significance because the game says so. This is also our first glance at above water exploration and a new feature this game has: temperature. So now we can actually freeze to death. My immersion is insane. Next, you'll tell me we gotta rest because our muscles are sore from swimming too much.
That's what I'm saying.
Once we began to explore the island, a message started to play from some country-ass woman basically just saying we are not welcome. And she does indeed practice the Second Amendment, except it must be referred differently in this game since the lady drops in with a giant mech suit. Like, okay bro, we get it. You're compensating. She also looks calorie deficient, but that's her own problem. So yeah, she basically just left after saying 2 sentences. I guess the voice acting budget was low or something. This island didn't really have jack on it except for the radio tower, which I can't do anything with right now since you need to craft a module to fix it for a trophy more near the end of the game. The next trophy I got was actually just from making a jukebox and placing it down inside of my base, which I had to make an entire multi-purpose room for this trophy since you can't fit any new structures inside the original drop pod. But I did all that useless stuff and then got the trophy. Alan and Robin also had a chat, and she dropped some stupid ass reasons as to why humans listen to music.
Rhythm is math. Harmonies can be math, but music as a whole is more than that.
Shut up, bitch!
Next trophy is gotten from finding that big scary lady from earlier, but this time it's in her home, which is like hundreds of meters down underwater. Kind of an odd choice of housing, but then again, people live in Detroit, so it's no judgment. Anyways, the game gave you a ping for the location, obviously, and it was over 1 kilometer away. Subnautica has now finally taught me what 1 kilometer is, and I can no longer say I'm a true American. Nonetheless, once you arrive at the ping, the way down to her house is not very clear at all, and I sort of just wandered to it after searching mindlessly around the area. Also, later on in the game, this is the best entrance to the literal final area of it, so it's kind of funny. But once you break into her home, she had this really odd-looking guard dog, and it straight up just started going for it on me. Kind of weird. Thankfully, she told it to stop, and then we had a civilized conversation while I'm just casually intruding into her home. Talk about boundaries. Only a bitch named Robin, I swear to God. The scary lady did have some cool wall decorations referring to the OG game though, which is neat. So now the goal is to head to this lab that has a ton of key info in it, but also it's right next to the glacial basin, which is where numerous trophies are gotten for doing a ton of things this game has in it. I also made a tiny base next to it also I could try not have to travel back and forth from the original drop pod. You also do need to fabricate a lot of things here, so it makes that easy also. I did get to engage in a boss fight with one of the weird dogs that the scary lady had, and Lord have mercy, these things hit hard, but also using just a knife did like 0 damage and I almost died. But when I killed the thing, it decomposed so fast it just slipped through the floor. What the f? This part of the game took me a while to get the hang of because I both didn't know where I was or where I was going since the winter areas all look the same. And also I had no idea what to do, to be honest, in terms of building or gathering materials for things I needed. But I did find this important area which has a giant alien creature frozen in it. And also the thing has infections everywhere which we need to cure for a trophy later on. Before that though, I had to make the spy pangolin both because it was a trophy and also because you need to control that thing and go pluck away at those weird snow dogs for their fur. And let me tell you, doing this on a random one in the wild was no easy task. And I'm starting to question how that scary lady domesticated one while I was busy getting my ass chased back and forth for multiple minutes, nearly dying. I also did make the snow fox, obviously, which is this bike thing that you can ride and need to ride around the snow biome. So once I gathered 4 fur from the snowy dog, I headed back to the fabrication machine and made a full set of cold suit clothing to help me, you know, somewhat not die from hypothermia. I am still white though, so yeah. Anyways, I then went after the trophy gotten for curing that frozen alien's infection. Not sure why we need to because it's clearly not going anywhere, but I guess global warming is on the rise, so we should probably do something before it's too late. In order to get the antidote for the creature, you first need to find it, which is done by controlling the spy pangolin through its very specific crevice until he finds a crate, which has the antidote just straight up inside of it. You do still need to craft it though, but it's very easy and just takes the 2 plants that can be found around the snow biome we are already in. Once I crafted the antidote, I then rode back through the desolate wasteland, which resembles the amount of women I talk to on a daily basis, until finding the poor infected guy again. I then inserted the antidote into this little machine thing, and it did what machines do best, and I got the trophy. The final trophy gotten in this glacial basin part of the game is for opening up the bridge, which is used later on in the story for some endgame things. But first, you just need to make hydraulic fluid, which is honestly not hard at all, and I already had the components for it, which made getting this trophy a breeze. So there's actually only a few trophies left to get. All of these are more for the ending of the game, but before that, we can do pirate radio, which is gotten from fixing the radio tower from earlier on. In order to do this though, I had to go to some pretty scary areas of the game and scan parts for the parallel processing unit, which is a component of the test override module that I need. First, I went to this ginormous crashed ship underwater and literally could not find the two scannable things I needed to save my life. So I shamelessly looked it up and then was able to scan the things that were here. The final part was a ways away from the other ones and I couldn't take my ship all the way down to it, so I had to just freeball that sucker. This is for some reason absolutely terrifying because it opens my butt wide to the various evil creatures around the area. But I found it down in this other crashed ship and was now ready to make everything for the override test module. And I did just that moments later. Then took it back to the radio tower and shoved it into the hole forcefully, which led to me getting a trophy after turning the radio on seconds later. So here comes the longest grind for the game. We now need to both find and make the 3 different alien body parts for that voice Alan to go into and become alive again. Before that though, I talked to the scary lady again, and when I left her somewhat real and nice home, I was walking back to my sea truck when an enemy attacked it and it got sent onto land. I kid you not, I literally could not use it anymore, so I had to reset to my most recent save. Now that was actually sort of funny, but my game literally broke and turned purple for a tad bit after.
We don't know what the hell is going on right now.
So back to the alien parts, they are all found deep underwater in alien caves, obviously. The first part I found was the easiest and usually first one for all players, but it was the skeleton for the guy and it was placed at a casual 600 or so meters underwater, making it pretty accessible with only needing 1 or 2 death module upgrades. The others, however, were much more annoying to find. I went after the only part that was above ground next, and it was at the very edge of a giant open plain where this huge snow worm just tries to kill you like every 4 seconds. I ended up in the right area though after some confusing exploration and scanned the alien tissue, leaving only one more part to get. This final part is near the final area of the game, and it's suggested to actually take all of the crafting materials with you down there so you don't need to make multiple trips, because the area is quite confusing to be honest. I did not do that, but I did nearly die many times. Anyways, I found the organs for the dude and then had to painfully gather all of the materials for it so I could then build it and return back there again. So yeah, this was super boring. It took me like 2 hours to find everything I needed because some of the materials were so confusing to find and I low-key kept on forgetting where everything was. Overall, it was just a pain in my ass. But once I found everything, I then went to the final alien base underground and used all the materials to build each part of the alien until it was fully done. All that was left is to transfer over Alan to his new meat vessel, and we then got a cutscene of him taking over his new alien body. And I kept on thinking how funny it would be if Alan turned on us and just killed us and then like ruined the world or something. Yeah, I have mental issues. But I did get the trophy for that, and the final one is now for finding the portal and just straight up leaving the planet after honestly not doing much. But Jesus Christ, this portal for some reason I could not find the entrance to for forever. I swam back and forth for 20 minutes straight, beginning to lose my mind until caving in and looking it up on how you find the entrance for it. And I still couldn't do it. I ended up finding the right pocket finally, though I won't lie. And yeah, we basically just went to the portal and Alan was there. I helped him fix it up a little bit and then got sucked up into a ship straight alien style. We then flew away from the planet, leaving the scary lady to die. Rest in peace, Bozo.
Hello, Bozo.
And there's the final trophy with the platinum right after. So yeah, that was the 2 Subnautica games platinum trophies. Sorry for not having much of the first game, but they're honestly very similar to each other. I do, however, think the first one is quite a bit longer and harder than the second one, and also it's probably better. Also, shout out for this dude who keeps on asking to be put into a video on my Discord server. This right here, kids, proves if you ask for something long enough, it will maybe eventually happen. Join the Discord.